This is our November release for Pandasaurus. It's a roll and write by Bruno Cathala, so designer of Five Tribes and King Domino, and Corentin LeBras, who's an upcoming designer. He's one of the co-designers of Draftosaurus, so he's got some really good stuff coming. In Trek 12, we have 3 ways to play. We've got solo mode, we've got a one-shot where you play one mountain, or we have campaign mode where you play 3 mountains back to back. Each game plays about 15 minutes, so the campaign experience is in less than an hour. It plays so fast because we're going to be rolling 2 dice for the whole table. And each person's going to be deciding how to use those die results by choosing the lower die, higher die, subtracting, adding, or multiplying. So to choose a result, you're going to be crossing off one of those options, so you can only do them 4 times. If I spend my first 4 turns of the game multiplying, I can't do that ever again. So what you want to do with those numbers, we're going to be filling up this mountain, all 19 circles, trying to create lines, which are a series of consecutive ascending or descending numbers, so 2, 3, 4, 5, for example. Or zones, which are the same number next to each other, so you've got 2 8s right here. Lines and zones will score the same, so you're going to take the highest number. We'll use this 2, 3, 4, 5 again. You'll get the highest number, so 5, plus 1 point for each extra circle. So 5, 6, 7, 8. And if we look at those 2 8s again, 8 points for the highest number, plus 1 for the extra. Alright? Your longest line and your largest zone will get happy faces. Those are bonus points for how large they are. Depending on the number of circles, you'll get increasing bonus points. Now, if you're forced to take a result because you ran out of what you really needed, and you can't connect the number you're writing to a line or a zone, because you always have to branch out onto something you've written next to before, you're going to get a sad face, which is worth -3 points at the end of the game. So, after you've ascended the mountain, filled in 19 circles, everyone will count their points, and we'll see who wins. Now, for the campaign, that's where these stars come into play. And think of them as a currency, okay? To unlock these ones, you have to beat that suggested score, which this player did not, not by far. The trophy ones you'll unlock if you win at the table with your friends. And that final golden one, you will earn if you beat your gaming group's high score, which you track on this leaderboard, which is pretty cute.
Yeah, that's really neat.
Yeah. You're going to use those stars as a type of currency to purchase these assist cards, which are bonus rewards with powerful effects. So a reroll, or you get a 5th option, and so on. If you don't use those cards in the campaign, you earn extra points because they are so powerful. You get a little bit of a hindrance if you do use them. In addition to the campaign, though, we have 7 secret envelopes that players can unlock while they play. And that's by accomplishing specific feats. So have 2 11s next to each other, or have 3 7s next to each other, and so on. And in these envelopes are more ways to enjoy the game. So more assist cards, new rules, new maps. So as you play more and more, you're going to get more skilled and more capable of unlocking these things that give you more ways to enjoy the game. So for prolonging the lifetime of the game.
And this will definitely be a game because of that same mechanic that you can expand this very easily if you want to do expansions, add in new cards. Obviously, since this is an upcoming release, I'm sure those discussions are holding off to see on the sales, but yeah, I definitely would be interested to see what comes more of this one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have 1 expansion planned already. It's on our website, Trek 12+1, and that adds a new map and more envelopes. But this released in France in early 2020. And the publishers got a little bit stir crazy in quarantine. Yep. So they made a whole bunch of print and play promo mini expansions that you can find on Board Game Geek. So there's a Valentine's Day one, there's a Christmas one, I think there's a fortune telling one.
Oh, exciting.
So yeah, if you search Trek 12, about a half dozen things will pop up.
Exciting. Well, we'll definitely be looking forward to this one when it comes out.
Yeah, awesome. You can play now on Board Game Arena, and those play in about 10 minutes because it does all the math for you.
Nice.
So you can try it there.
Cool. Well, thank you for showing us this one.
Yeah.
And I see we have another exciting game to look at as well.
One other brand new game. We'll pack this up. So, that time you killed me. This is a strictly two-player abstract strategy game. It's inspired by 4D chess, where you have the 3 boards, you're playing chess vertically. In this one, the players, okay, one of them is the true inventor of the time machine and therefore time travel. The other player is their arch nemesis who's trying to murder them and take credit for the invention and all the fame and glory that goes along with it. So, what we're doing is playing across 3 boards simultaneously. We've got the past, the present, and the future. And I've been describing this as the butterfly effect, the board game, because what I do in the past is going to ripple through the timeline and affect the present and the future. So you have to be mindful of what you're doing because there will be consequences. So let's set this up. We are going to have a pawn in each of the 3 eras in the same space. So on your turn, I guess how to win. You are trying to fully eliminate your opponent from 2 of the boards. Doesn't matter which ones, and it doesn't matter how many pawns there are on the final one. You just have to eliminate them from all the potential possibilities.
Okay.
And the game ends immediately. Games will take between 15 and 30 minutes to get to that point, so it's not an all-day endeavor. On your turn, you can do one of a few simple things. You can move, but if I move in the past, my present and future selves are going to follow, right? If I move in the present, my future self will follow, and if I move in the future, only my future self will act because the past ones have already occurred. You can add more pawns to the board with some time travel shenanigans, but you want to be careful not to have too many copies of yourself in the same era because there could be paradoxes that happen, which are bad. And then finally you can push on your turn. So if you push a pawn into an empty space, that's fine, you just all follow, you slide. If you push a pawn into a wall though, they are squished and removed, so that's another way to get closer to the end game. After you take your turn, you have to move your focus token from the era you acted in to a different era. Either one, doesn't matter, just you cannot take an action in the same era over and over and over again. So what you're doing is committing for your next turn, I'm going to be acting in this era. Now, of course, this is before your opponent takes their turn, so you're giving them a little bit of information, not what you're going to do, but when you're going to do it. But because of that butterfly effect, they're still limited to whoever their focus token is, but they can do something simple here that has devastating consequences in another time. So it's pretty interesting, it's pretty cerebral already. So halfway through the rule book, we say stop, hold on, hold your ponies, play this version 2 or 3 times, get the hang of the ropes, whatever the phrase is, before you move on to open the rest of the game. Okay, so we broke out different modules for the game that add new plastic components, new rules, new parts of the story. It's not a legacy game, it's just a slow burn to discover it, because if we'd given it to everyone all at once, I couldn't play it right now. So we let you master it slowly. You get a little bit of a hint as to what's inside. I'm not going to open them because of spoilers, but there's a lot of things. I will show you what's in box 4 though. So kind of. Box 4 is full of secrets. So they are, just like in Track 12, feats. So if you accomplish a specific thing during the game, you can open the envelope and move on. And what these hold are more ways to enjoy the game. And, you know, more rules, more scenarios, and so on. But most of all, more secrets. So lots and lots to do here. Again, since each game takes 15 minutes, you can get the first part and open up chapter 1 the same day you play it for the first time. Yeah.
So you were saying a paradox would happen. I assume that happens whenever your 2 selves meet.
Well, you could push into yourself, right? If I move here, let's set up like this.
Yeah.
If in the past I move my pawn one space forward. Oh, but I bumped into myself.
Okay.
And so it's just like boom,
Okay,
into the
gotcha,
wall.
gotcha. Okay. Nice.
But yeah, this is going to be $50. Hopefully releasing in early December, but we've just been saying at some point in space-time because of all the shipping delays.
Yes.
World events. Absolutely. Yeah, this looks like a lot of fun. This definitely has a lot of interesting mechanics. We've seen some of them in other games, but this adds a whole new layer to it that is very interesting. Because I won't say the name of the game, but there's one game that we played that you have to play across multiple boards. But yeah, so this looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah. So it's abstract strategy, which can be dull and boring and dry.
Right.
So the designer, he's actually an amazing writer. He writes scripts for sitcoms in his day job, and he came up with this theme, the dueling rival time travelers. The first thing you see when you open the box is this letter, to whom it may concern, and it's addressed to the true inventor of the time machine. But it quickly devolves into insults against the would-be murderer.
Gotcha.
And this type of tone is present throughout the rule book, like in Uwe Rosenberg. He chimes in with little asides. Here, it's the designers, the omnipotent narrator who chimes in with time travel trivia, which may or may not be factual, and just little interesting digs at the would-be murderer and whatnot. So it adds some brevity, it adds some humor, and we've got a whole bunch of beautiful artwork in this as well.
Nice. Yeah, abstract games are, like you said, sometimes can be boring, but if you put a little theme on them and keep people entertained, they won't even realize what they're playing. So that is very clever, and again, like with Track 12, it looks like there's a lot of options for future content. There could be boxes 5 through 8 at some point in time, I assume.
Maybe. I'll have to jump to the future to find out.
Well, thank you for showing us these two games. We're looking really forward to this and all the other titles that are coming out. So thank you for your time.
Absolutely. Thank you.